Good morning, everyone. Here, yes, you can see on the slide a new topic here on the slide: difference between morale depressant and morale stimulant. But before I start with morale depressant and morale stimulant, can someone tell me what this morale stimulant and morale depressant is? Okay, now let me tell you. Morale depressant are those factors which depress or reduces your morale, right? On the other hand, morale stimulants are those factors which stimulates or increases your morale. So your morale increases because of these factors. They are called morale stimulant, and your morale decreases due to these factors, reduces due to these factors, and they are called morale depressant. Okay. Now, looking on here, you can see the slide. Are you all able to see the slide? Yes. See the slide. Difference between morale depressant and morale stimulant. Actually, this is not a difference. This is the list of a chart which can increase or boost your morale, or the one which can depress or lower your morale. So this is just a chart. The first one you see, first we'll be doing all morale depressant factors together, and then we'll be doing all morale stimulant factors. So morale depressant factor number 1, meaningless and unchallenging job. If you are giving your employees meaningless job, unchallenging job, his morale will reduce. His morale will decrease. He'll have a lower morale. It will depress. Point number 2, poor working condition. If you give your employee a poor working condition, he may not be liking it. So, obviously, his morale will go down. Point number 3, unfriendly and unhelpful supervision. That means if the supervisor is not friendly and helpful, then the person have to suffer. So the if a supervisor is unfriendly and unhelpful, supervision means the same thing. If a supervisor is unfriendly and unhelpful, therefore, in that case, his morale is going to get depressed. Whose morale? Employee's morale. Point number 4, bad relation with co-workers. If you are not having good relation with your co-workers, if you are having bad relation with your co-workers, obviously that is also one of the factor of morale depressant. Another one, unsound policies and practices of management. The policies and practices of management maybe is not good for the employee, and employee is not taking it in a positive way. So that would be one of the factor for the morale depressant. Because it depends on the employee. Now, if the employee is taking it as a negative, that means it's negative for him. He can't take it positive. If he's feeling negative, then he'll be taking negative. Like sometimes what happen, you in the class, if we tell you something, if you take positive, then it's okay. But if you take it negative, then you take it negative. Every time this is happening now. Then we have another point, unhappy family life. Because this is also one of the factor. Because the employee is not having, suppose the employee is not happy for the family, some problem is there in the family life. So even that is another factor. Employee is depressed from inside, one of the factors. Obviously, that is not internal factor. That's an external factor which is happening in the employee's personal life. So the company has nothing to do with that. But it will suffer, of course. Then point number 7, poor public image of the company. Like suppose at times what happened, the company in which an employee is working is not having a good image. So ultimately, the employee is not happy with the company because he will be depressed because other companies' image is good and my company image is not good. Like sometimes what happens, you say our school is bad, the other schools are good, the other children are good, they are doing this for that much, they are doing this much for children, they are doing that for children, so many things you say. So ultimately this also is one of the factor for employees' morale to go down. So it's one of the depressant factor. Point number 8, low wage, salary and allowances is one of the factor. That means if an employee is has been given low wage, low salary, low allowances, then also he's not happy, he's not satisfied, his morale will be low. So that will be one of the factor for the morale depressant, one of the factor of morale depressant. Now, on the other side, if you see on the same slide, the morale stimulant factors, the factors which boost the morale, which increases the morale, and what are they? Point number 1, meaningful and challenging job. That means you are giving meaningful and challenging job to your employees. So employee will be happy because that is a meaningful job for him. Point number 2, good working condition. If you are giving a good physical environment, good working condition, so what happen? Obviously his morale will be stimulated. His morale will be boosted. Point number 3, friendly and helpful supervision. If the superior is friendly, helpful, he is rather, instead of complaining, the supervisor is helping. That is important. Now today's world, what is happening? Everybody wants to complain. Nobody wants to work. So the supervisor should be helping in nature, helpful in nature rather than complaining in nature. Point number 4, good relation with co-worker. When you are having a good relation with your other colleagues or co-workers, then also your morale will be boosted. Point number 5, sound policies and practices of management. Like some policies which employees are liking, some practices. Oh, this is happening in this company. I like it. I like this from my company because this company is having so many good policies, so better policies for us, for our development, for our career, for our prospect. So ultimately what happened? When we think about all this, we think, yes, this is the best place. Point number 6, happy family life. When your family life is happy, you are satisfied from inside, you're not complaining anymore. From your family, you are happy, you're coming happy to the job. So ultimately is one of the factors to boost up your morale. Next is a good public image of the company. Your public image increases because if the company's public image is higher, then that is also an employee feel happy from inside. That means he's working in that organization, right? He's happy from that inside. Like suppose if Sundar Pichai, let's take an example of Sundar Pichai working in Google, and his fellow members, others in his same engineering group or wherever he has done his MCA and all. So in the same class, there's so many other students. Everybody has not gone to Google, right? Some are working in other companies as well. So even when Sundar Pichai sees that he's working in a very good public image company, from inside his morale is boosted. So in comparison to his friends who are his fellow members, his colleagues who are being educated in the same way but are working in somewhere else. So ultimately when you are working at a good public image company, where a company in which its image is good publicly, so obviously that will again stimulate your morale, boost your employees' morale. The last point which is not there, high wage, salary and allowances. If you are giving high wages, salary and allowances to your employees, again that will also boost up your morale because that is again one of the factors which boost up your morale. Have you written that down? Okay. Now, as I told you have to take things very seriously because you are not doing things seriously. Things have to be taken seriously. Anything will not be repeated again and again. Whatever we are doing, we are not going to repeat the same thing again and again, I am telling you. So whatever is been taught is taught forever. Note down everything. Every factor is important, every lesson is important, every tidbits is important. Any file which we are sending you, any reference files which have been sent to you, anything as such have to be taken seriously. Every question answers have to be completed on time. Learning work have to go on at par at the same time because there are 22 lessons in this book, and if you are not doing since day one, you'll have to suffer. I may be giving you 10 minutes video, but that is helpful. That 10 minutes is completely utilized, right? So I am teaching you whatever has been taught, whatever has been explained to you. Kindly note them down, make a record of it, learn it up. Don't leave anything for the last moment. Everything should be there. Pen down everything. Make registers seriously. Take down all the lectures in it. I know it is difficult. So you can pause and keep noting. Again, pause, keep noting. So don't leave anything. Take a pause and keep noting down everything. What is explained about what? Some extra thing, some extra topic has been explained in the slides. Some extra points have been given in the slides. So kindly do them. Note them down. In the absence of that, you cannot succeed. And especially those children who are expecting pointers, 90 above, should take things seriously right from day one. And if you're not taking it seriously, you'll be the sufferer, because these lessons will not be taught to you. So kindly take all my explanation, all my lectures seriously. Thank you.
Hi, this is Joseph Tan here from GoodMonday.com. Today we're going to talk about what is the number one enemy of team morale. Morale is something that organizations talk about on a constant basis. It represents the so-called happiness level of an organization or of a team, and it is one of those X factor that many times is missing in organizations today. Here's the myth of team morale. The myth of team morale is that the focus is usually on the word team. There is this misconception that morale is affected by the entire team. It is a disease that kind of spreads and propagates among the team members. Not so. Morale is never a team issue. I remember there was once a factory manager called me in and said, Joseph, I have a team issue here. We have a group of operators who are gloomy, who's not getting along with each other, and in short, our morale it's pretty low. So can you please whip up a 2-day team building program? And in this team building program, I would like you to whip them up back into shape so that morale improve and productivity increase and they live happily ever after. My follow-up question to the factory person is this: can you tell me who they report to? Can you tell me who they report to? I want to begin at this level, because as far as morale is concerned, it is never a team issue, as I've mentioned earlier. If it's not a team issue, what is it? It is actually a matter of personal leadership. Let me explain. In order to improve the so-called ethos or environment of the office, team building is not the long-term solution. Of course, it does have the benefit of creating some fun and laughter, but it is never a long-term solution, nor does recognition. Recognition will not also improve team morale, and even compensation would not improve team morale. There are people who leave the organization for higher pay, and yet they find themselves back in the same scenario again. So team building, recognition, and compensation does not solve the issue of poor team morale. You know what's the number one issue that affects morale? That number one issue is the H word. And you know what's the H word? Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is the number one killer of team morale. Hypocrisy, it's not a team issue. Hypocrisy, it's a leadership issue, because hypocrites are individuals who do not walk with integrity. How does one combat hypocrisy? You combat hypocrisy by being very careful with your words. As a leader, you cannot afford to be loose with your words. Meaning, whatever promises that you make sure that you do it. If there is violation, you must apply consequences. If there are people who do wrong, you must confront and you must bring it up. You cannot afford to keep quiet. So you can be a hypocrite either by saying things that you don't mean or by not speaking at all. In other words, truthfulness is important if you want to be a leader of integrity. The second thing that not only do you have to be very careful with your words, you have got to go about doing the right works. Too many leaders nowadays, they operate by remote control. They stay in their comfortable office and they write memos, they send emails, they send text messages, sending their troops into battle while they retreat into their own comfortable corner. But when you are needed, when your troop needs you, do you stand up for them? Are you attentive to their needs? Do you help them and coach them? What are you doing as a manager? That's important. A few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of being in discussion with the CEO of a local newspaper, and the CEO said this, for a leader that is worth his salt, in times of crisis, a leader would lead from the front. That means when there is trouble, the leader is in front, doing the right works, saying the right things, protecting his people. And in times of comfort, when things are going well, the leader lead from behind. Meaning in times of comfort, he allows his people to take credit and he allows his people the opportunity to lead. But when it is time for crisis, he comes in and takes over. So the people feel protected. In other words, the people feel that my boss, my leader is a person of integrity and he is not a hypocrite. So what's the number one enemy of team morale, so to speak? It is hypocrisy. And hypocrisy, remember, it is never a team issue. It is always an issue of personal leadership, and that is you. And the number one solution is also up to you, because the number one solution or the answer to hypocrisy is personal integrity. And when every leader walks with personal integrity, the byproduct is improved team morale. So team morale is never an issue to be directly addressed with the team. It is an indirect indicator that there are personal integrity issues with the leadership. This is Joseph Tan here from GoodMonday.com. Thank you.